right, the other week I was able to get my picture much larger, so I don't know how I did that. Hi, Chuck. All right, everyone, welcome to Monday Night Yoga. We are going to get started. So come to your comfortable seat. I am wearing my Rainbow Pride headband. So go ahead and let's get started. Find your sit bones. Find your wiggle side to side. Whew, it's been a day. And let your rib cage sort of float side to side. Move it around, whatever feels good for you. Start to loosen up. Let your shoulders get into it. Nice. Let your head and neck, just loosening up the whole entire body. A few more breaths here. Doing whatever you need to do, and then start to slow down. Start to come into your seat. Start to think about drawing your weight down into the ground as you let your spine start to grow nice and tall. Lift your shoulders up by your ears so that you can drop them down and relax them. Lift them up again, and then drop them down and relax them. Let them sink away from your ears. Think about your head growing taller, reaching up towards the sky. Draw your belly button in towards your spine so that you can elongate and find even more space between your vertebrae. Welcome. And breathe in. I'm Angela. Welcome. Go ahead and set up. We just started. You've got plenty of room, Annalise. And breathe. Let your fingertips walk out to either side of your mat, and let's do a little finger tapping, stretching your forearms, feeling how that feels. And then plant your left hand down into your mat. Reach your right arm up to shoulder height. Gaze over your right fingertips and rotate your right palm up to the ceiling. And then rotate it. Maybe you can get your hand all the way around. Being gentle with your shoulder socket. Think of moving your arm as one giant piece, rotating in that shoulder socket. Next time your palm is reaching up, bring your arm all the way up by your ear. Stretch, 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 and then exhale, bend over to your left. And breathe here. Now think about pressing your right sit bone, your right butt cheek down to the mat so that you start to stretch through the right side of your body. And breathe, reach, and breathe. And then come all the way back up. Let your right fingertips float all the way down to the ground. Welcome, everyone. Reach your left arm out so it's up by your shoulder at your shoulder height. Turn your left palm up and then rotate it all the way back. So think about, again, moving your arm within the shoulder socket. So you want to try and hold everything else still. Nice, Jody. Few more times. And then lift your arm up by your ear and exhale, bend all the way over to your right. Again, think about pressing your left sit bone down into the mat so you get this big side stretch. And breathe here. Come all the way back through center. So we're going to reach both arms out to the side. And now we're going to flow with our own breath. So we're going to flow one side and then come through center, flow to the other side. So if you're just joining, you might be a little more stiff. Maybe you've just gotten up from your computer. So do whatever you need to do here. If you need to wiggle a little bit more, go for it. All right. Now everyone reach all your fingers up. We're gonna do a little finger exercise, a little forearm exercise. make some sock puppets. And now open and close, open and close. Yeah, they can have little conversations. It's shocking how quickly your forearms might get tired. And we use our forearm muscles on our phones, on our computers all the time. All right, bring those all the way back down. Roll your shoulders 3 times to the back. And 3 times to the front. Now, for those of you who are new, my name's Angela. I have a small left shoulder injury, so if I'm ever not doing something on my left side, that is why. I normally try and bring it up again. If you have injuries, take care of yourself. Don't do anything if it hurts. And then talk to me after class or whenever if something isn't working for you. Let's all make our way into our tabletop position. So we're going to line our knees up. Now, since we're outside, you may want to double your mat like so to give yourself a little extra cushion under your knees if you need it. Plant your shins in the shoelace portion of your feet behind you so that when you look down between your knees, your feet are parallel and you can't really see them. Place your hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers. Your pointer finger should be pointing towards me. And then think about trying to make an L shape with your thumb. Press down into your fingertips, the knuckles, and the outer edges of your hand. Arms are starting to work. Think about lifting your belly, your lower body up to meet your back body. So you feel this little hollow sensation growing here. Gazing straight down at the mat in front of you, we're going to drop our belly buttons down to the mat, arch our back, gaze and look up as far as we can. And then on our exhale, we're going to reverse that, lifting our belly button up to our spine, rounding our back, dropping the crown of our head down towards the ground. Inhale, roll forward, coming into your cow spine. And exhale into your cat spine. Now make sure that you're still pressing down into your hands as you continue to move, articulating your spine. Nice. So you can stay here, or if you want a little bit more, we're going to start to bump our hips out to the side, round to the back, and then arch as we come forward a little bit. So there's a little bit more of a hip movement, a little bit more through the shoulders. Getting some fluid moving around. And then next time you're in the front, see if you can reverse this. Coming all the way back. Anything goes. There is no right or wrong here, whatever feels good. And if you find a sticky spot that you want to hang out in for a moment, go ahead and do that. And then we'll all meet back here in our tabletop. So working again on our forearms and our wrists, can you turn your fingertips so they face the outer edge of your yoga mat and make little circles? And if it's too much, you can walk your hands a little bit further forward and it might take some of the stress off your wrists. Now from here, you may be able to turn your fingertips to face your knees. So if you're new to this, you may not be able to do it, don't worry. And then can you roll back, lifting the palms of the heels of your hands? Yeah. Stretch those computer forearms. Woo! Sit back. And if it's too much, try one hand at a time. Maybe bring your hands closer to your legs, further away. We're only going to do this one more time. This is the hand equivalent of my toe stretch that I like so much. And return your hands, sit back, let your wrists relax. Okay, that was a lot. Does that feel a little sensation? A little bit going on there. So we're gonna do what I like so much with the toes. Lean forward, curl your toes under, and then sit back on your heels. Can you get that little pinky toe? All 10 of your toes really stretching out. Sandal weather. We want our toes to be nice and energetic, stretchy. Maybe you can rock side to side on them. If it's too much, you can always lean forward a little and lift some of the weight off. And gently stretch your toes out. Woo! All right, back to our tabletop position. We're gonna take our right leg, we're gonna stretch it behind us. Make sure all 5 of those toes are on the ground, and then start to saw back and forth. So your hands are under your shoulders. You're gently rocking back and forth, stretching your hamstrings, stretching out the back of your leg. And now come to center here. If you have the balance, start to lift your right leg up. Flex your foot so your toes point down to the ground. Keep it right there at hip height. Nice. And then if you want, walk your left hand out in front of you. Maybe even float your left hand up. If you are balanced here and you want to take the challenge, you can exhale, bringing your elbow to your knee. Inhale, reach and extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach and extend. Nice, everyone. Exhale, elbow to knee. Reach and extend. We're going to bring our hand down, keep our leg lifted, and now bend and extend. Bend. Now notice, did everybody just shift to the left? See if you can keep your belly button pointing straight down to the mat. Nice. Lower that right leg. Draw that knee in. Shake your hips out a little bit. We're going to do all that on the other side. Reach your left leg back behind you. Saw back and forth over your left toes. Whoops. Nice. Keep it going. And then come to stillness. Float your left foot up. Flex your left foot. Find your balance. You're lifting that lower belly up to meet your back. Walk your right fingers out. If you have your balance, you can float your right arm up. Check that your neck is relaxing. You're gazing straight down. Beautiful. And then exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach and extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Reach and extend. Knee to elbow. Reach and extend. Float that right hand back down and then bend the left knee and extend, working on some hamstring strength. And extend one more time and extend. Float that left foot down. Draw the knees in. Go ahead and shake out side to side. Need to straighten my mat out there. Okay. Curl your toes under, and we're going to slowly peel up into a downward facing dog, which is an upside V, upside down V. Bend your knees right and left, sort of stepping it out. Now I want everyone to pull forward into a high plank. So from here, if your feet are in and your butt is still up, you want to walk your feet out so that your shoulders are over your wrists and you're in a traditional push-up position. Without moving your hands and feet, can you lift up into your downward facing dog? Now this might feel different, it might feel really long, but this is actually the correct quote unquote placement of your down dog. Now ripple roll your spine forward into plank. Exhale, press up to down dog. Inhale, ripple roll forward to plank. Exhale, up to down dog. One more time, ripple roll forward. And lift up to your downward facing dog. From your down dog, make sure your hips are reaching up nice and high. Check in that you're pressing into your fingertips and your knuckles, not just into your wrists. Gaze forward at your fingertips and take 10 tiny little steps to get your feet all the way up towards your hands. Little itty bitty steps. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Coming into a forward fold, letting your head hang heavy. Maybe you can lift your fingers off the ground, reach for your shoulders. Let your head hang your upper body even heavier. You can start to feel a stretch through your hamstrings and through your lower back. Maybe you can rock gently side to side. We're gonna release our hands and roll up nice and slow. We're upside down, so we don't wanna come up too fast. Keeping our chins tucked into our chest so that the blood flow is coming back up slowly, slowly, slowly. Lining your head up over your shoulders, coming up to feel nice and tall. Notice where your feet are, and this should be a comfortable foot position for you. You can bring them in if that's really comfortable for you, wider if that is comfortable for you. So it's really what makes you feel the most comfortable, the most sturdy. I'm always on a shaky stone. All right. So we're gonna do a few sun salutations. We'll add a little something, something into them to make them extra fun. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Press your hands into your thighs. Straighten your back. Lift your belly button up. And then exhale, bend your knees. Plant your hands on the ground. Step back to plank. Hold your plank for one breath. And then lower your knees down. Bend your elbows and lower your torso all the way down to the mat. Walk your hands out to 10 and 2. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press yourself into tabletop. Curl your toes and then make your way into downward facing dog. Breathe here. Nice and slow. And now look forward at your hands and take maybe 5 steps to get to your hands this time. So your steps are a little bit bigger. Press down with your feet, reach your arms out to the side, come all the way up to stand, palms touch. Interlace your fingers, reach your pointer fingers up to the sky, get taller, 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 and then exhale over to the right. Come back to center, exhale over to the left. Come back to center. Look up at your fingertips, release the grip and fold forward. Don't fall, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine, press your hands into your shins or back into your thighs. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to your plank position. We're gonna breathe here for one breath. Exhale, drop your knees, lower down your chest. Bring your hands to 10 and 2. Exhale, lower down. Roll your spine up, lower down. One more time, roll up, lower down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Choices, come back through tabletop, or if you're ready, press up into your plank position. And then lift your hips into downward facing dog. Always options, always choices. Lift your hips up, lengthen your arms. See if you can get your ears between your biceps. And then gaze forward at your hands. Maybe it's 3 steps to get to your hands this time. Press your feet down, reach your arms all the way out and up, all the way up to stand. Interlace your fingers. Release your pointer fingers, reach up, exhale, bend over to the right. Either right, it doesn't matter which right, just pick a side. And then come back to center and bend over to the other side. And come back to center, gaze up at your hands. Maybe you arch just a little bit back. And then on your exhale, float all the way forward down into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Fingertips on the ground, your shins, your thighs. Plant your hands, step back to plank. You can lower all the way down without dropping your knees this time. or drop your knees, lower your chest. Bring your hands out to 10 and 2. Inhale up. Exhale down. Lift up, roll through your spine. Exhale back down. One more time, lift up. Exhale back down. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Curl your toes, press straight up to plank or come up through tabletop and into downward facing dog. Breathe here in your down dog. Long spine. Lifting your hips. And then look forward at your hands. And maybe it's one big step this time to get your feet up to your hands. Press down, reach your arms all the way up to stand. Interlace your fingers, release your pointer fingers, reach up, bend over to the right. Come back to center, bend over to the left. Come back to center, reach your fingertips up, and then exhale them down by your side, coming into stand. I know you're so excited. And then think about standing here. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your stomach. If you're comfortable, let your eyes close. Feel your heartbeat, feel your breath. Breathe slowly, taking it all in. Listen to the sounds around you. Beautiful. And then release your hands down by your side. We're going to make our way to the top of our mat. So this is the part where I'll start creating a little flow. We'll add on to it each time. You'll have the option. Join us over here. You'll have the option to either continue with what we're adding on or to kind of repeat what we did prior. All right. And you will see that I will turn from side to side on my mat so that you always see a working side, but you don't have to turn to the back here. I hope that makes sense. All right, so exciting to have all these new faces here. If you can't see me, you can also come over here if you want, okay? And I'll meet you all after class. All right, inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Now we've done different versions from here, so you can do the one that feels right for you, but I'm gonna do lower my knees, lower my chest and chin, untuck my toes, inhale, baby cobra, and then exhale through tabletop to downward facing dog. I'm gonna hold here in down dog for 3 breaths. Head between my arms, reaching my hips up. Lift your left leg up behind you. And then bend your left knee, bring it towards your chest and bring it up in between your hands. If you need to use your hand to get it up there, that is perfectly fine. We all want to end up in this low runner's lunge. You can drop your knee down to the ground, untuck your toes, inhale, bring your arms up, holding up nice and high, and then exhale your fingertips down. Curl your right toes under, lift your right knee, lift your left arm, twisting up to the left. Beautiful, hold here, reach your right heel back. Float your left arm down, reach your arms out, come all the way up to high lunge. Breathe here. Straighten your front leg and melt back into your high lunge. We're gonna turn our right heel down, opening into our warrior 2. Bending our left knee, looking over our left fingertips, and then straighten up. Exhale, melt back into your warrior 2. Inhale, lengthen and straighten. And then exhale back into your warrior 2. Hold here. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths. Sounds like a lot. Now turn your left palm up. Exhale back, peaceful warrior. We're gonna cartwheel our hands all the way back down to the mat. Step back to plank. Go through your version of your vinyasa. So lower your knees, lower your chest and chin, untuck your toes, baby cobra. Back on down, press up through tabletop, back to downward facing dog. We're gonna stay in our down dog for 3 breaths. Holding here, lifting your hips up. You're in an upside down V. Float your right leg up behind you. Draw your right knee into your chest, sliding your right foot up between your hands, however you need to get it there. You're in your low runner's lunge, and then lower your left knee down. Inhale your arms up. Holding here. Exhale your hands down, plant your left hand, reach up, lift your right knee up, reach up and twist. Reach your left heel back and breathe. Bring your right hand down, reach your arms out in front of you, come all the way up to your high lunge. Holding here, straighten your front leg, sink back down. Turn your left heel down, opening into your warrior 2. Straighten your front leg, palms touch overhead. Exhale, melt back into your warrior 2. Lengthen and straighten. Exhale, melt back into your warrior 2. Lengthen and straighten. Exhale, melt back. We're gonna stay here for 3 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Think about your knee being over your ankle, arms are at shoulder height. Turn your right palm up, exhale back, peaceful warrior. Breathe here. Cartwheel your hands all the way down. Step back to plank. Go through your version of your vinyasa. And we will all meet in downward facing dog. All right, from our down dog, we're all gonna hold 3 breaths. So last season when we taught these classes outside, I would get eaten up by mosquitoes. It was horrible. Breathe here. You can always come down to a tabletop or a child's pose if you need a break. Otherwise, lift on up. Float your left leg up behind you. Draw your left knee in. Can you hover here, rounding your spine, bringing your left knee into your chest, making space to step your left foot up between your hands. Lower your right knee down, untuck your toes, reach on up. Now this time, exhale, can you sit your hips forward, finding a little bend, a little stretch through your front right hip. Gaze up. Exhale, plant your hands. Curl your right toes under, lift your right knee up, twist to the left. Reach your left arm towards the front of your mat. Look under your armpit, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then bring your arm back down and around, reach forward, come all the way up to high lunge. Straighten your front leg. This time, pull your arms down as you come back into your high lunge. Can you gaze up at the sky, maybe taking a little bit of a back bend? And then straighten up, twist and open into your warrior 2. In warrior 2, you want to be pressing into the outer edge of your right foot. Your front knee bends so that your knee is a little bit over your ankle. And if I was to draw a line from your heel, it would come all the way into the center of your back foot. I know that was a lot. And then you want to get your shoulders over your hips and your arms at shoulder height. Nice. Straighten, tap your hands overhead. Exhale, back into it. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back into it. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back into it. Turn your left palm up. Exhale back, peaceful warrior. So you're stretching through the left side of your body. Your right fingers are reaching down your right leg. Come back to your warrior two, keeping your legs where they are. Bend your left arm, rest it on your left thigh, reach your right arm straight up to the air. So you're feeling a big opening through your chest, reaching your right arm all the way up. Breathe here, 3 long breaths, nice and slow. And we'll come back to warrior two, and then cartwheel our hands down, step back to plank, your version of your vinyasa. So you can go halfway, upward facing dog, into downward facing dog. Hold here in your down dog, lifting your hips up. Check that your pointer fingers are pointing forward, that you're making an L shape with your thumbs. Nice. Float your right leg up behind you. Draw your right knee into your chest. Hold it here. Arch your back a little bit, round your back. And then float your right foot up between your toes. Lower your left knee down, untuck your left toes, reach your arms out and up. On your exhale, maybe you press forward just a little bit to stretch through that front left hip, pressing down into your right foot. And then let your fingertips float down, curl your left toes, lift your left knee, plant your left hand, reach and twist up to the right. Reach your right arm forward on your mat, or forward towards the front of your mat. Reach, reach, reach. And then bring your hands down, come all the way up to high lunge. Straighten your front leg and open into your warrior two. So again, your warrior two, you're pressing into the outer edge of your left foot this time. Your right heel would come to the center of your left foot. Your arms are at shoulder height. Straighten your front leg, let your fingertips tap overhead. Exhale back into your warrior two. Inhale, fingers tap. Exhale, warrior two. Exhale down. Hold here. Turn your right palm up, exhale back, peaceful warrior. And then come back to sorry about that, guys. Go through your version of your vinyasa, and we will meet in downward facing dog. Woo! If anyone knows how to tell me to make sure I don't get phone calls during this, apparently I need to know that. Huh? No. I'll try that. I put it on silent this time, which, you know, was a big step in the right direction. So lift your hips up in your down dog. Press the mat away from you. Breathe here. All right, so on this next round, we're gonna draw our knee in. I'm gonna give you the option to step it up a little bit and do some elbow taps. If you're like, no, Angela, I don't wanna do those, don't. All right, so you're gonna float your left leg up behind you. This time we're gonna draw our left knee over towards our right elbow, and then we're gonna extend it back up behind us. We're gonna draw our left knee to our left elbow, extend it back up behind us. We're gonna do each of those one more time. Knee to right elbow, extend it up. Knee to left elbow, extend it up. If you're joining us, lift your left leg up, draw your knee into your chest and slide your left foot up between your hands. Reach that right heel back, lower your right knee, untuck your toes, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, sink your hips forward, stretching through that right front hip. Beautiful. Exhale, float your hands down. Curl your right toes, lift your knee, you're back in your low lunge. Plant your right hand, reach your left arm up. You can reach your hand towards the front of the mat, or maybe this time you want to try bringing your hand behind your back, coming further into a twist, coming into more of a half bind. And then unravel that. Bring your hands down, reach up and forward into your high lunge. Straighten your front leg, open into warrior two. Melting into your warrior two, straighten and reach up. Exhale, melt back down. Lift and straighten, melt back down. One more time, lift and straighten, and melt back down. Turn your left palm up, exhale back, peaceful warrior. Come through warrior two, left hand on left thigh, reach your arm up. Breathe here. Maybe you want to try experimenting with your right hand behind your back, coming into a half bind. So you're still opening up through your chest. You want to make sure your shoulder doesn't come forward. And then extend that back up, come back up to your warrior two. Straighten your left leg, turn your toes to the long side of your mat, so towards the gym, nice. Think about getting tall through your spine, and then reach your chest forward, coming all the way down, bringing your hands down to help you. Reaching for the ground, you can bend your knees if you need to. Let's see if you can keep your spine straight. Nice. Plant your left hand under your nose, twist up and open to the right. Bring your right hand down, switch places, twist up and open to the left. Bring your left hand down. Walk your hands a little bit closer to your toes, letting the crown of your head hang down towards the mat. Bend your knees and roll yourself back up to stand. Reach your arms up above you like a big star. Turn your heels in, sit down into your goddess pose, bending your elbows. Nice. Feel your power, feel your strength. And then from here, we're going to go right back into our warrior two to the front of the mat. So bending your left knee, straightening your right leg. Cartwheel those hands down. Step back to plank. Take your version of your vinyasa. And we shall meet in downward facing dog. Beautiful. Excuse me. Hold your down dog. Breathe here. So you can stay in down dog, or you can join me as we do a little core strength. Float your right leg up behind you. Draw your right knee over towards your left elbow. Reach your right leg up behind you. Draw your right knee to your right elbow. Reach your right leg up behind you. Draw the knee to the left elbow. And it might not get all the way there, and that's okay. Reach back. Draw the knee to the right elbow. Everybody reach their right leg up behind you. Draw the knee through the center of your chest and slide that right foot up between your hands. Lower your left knee down, untuck your toes, reach your arms out and up. Sink your hips forward to stretch through the front of your left hip. And then exhale your hands down, curl your left toes, lift your left knee, plant your hand, twist up to the right. Reach your arm forward of your mat, or maybe you want to try reaching it behind you. Reaching your left leg back, finding that twist, so good for digestion, all this twisting of our internal organs. And then reach the right arm back up. Bring your hand down, reach your arms forward, come up to your high lunge. Breathe here, straighten your front leg, open into the side, melting into your warrior two. Beautiful, everyone. Straighten and tap your fingers overhead. Exhale back to your warrior two. Lengthen and straighten. Exhale back to warrior two. Lengthen and straighten. Exhale down. Bring your right palm up. Exhale back, peaceful warrior. Come back to your warrior two. Bend your right arm. Place it on your right thigh. Reach your left arm up. So you can stay here reaching to the sky, or maybe you want to try a half bind, reaching your arm behind you, but still opening through your chest, stacking your shoulders. Come back to warrior two. Straighten your front leg, turn your toes to the back fence. Hinge forward at your hips, bring your hands all the way down. So we're gonna bend our right knee, coming into a little bit of a lateral lunge. Come through center, bend our left knee, a little bit of a lateral lunge. And then go back and forth at a pace that feels good for you. A couple more times. And then come back to center, bring your hands closer to your toes, let the crown of your head come down to the mat. Pressing into your feet, bend your knees, start to roll yourself all the way up to stand. Arms all the way up into the sky like the star that you are. Turn your toes out and then bend into your goddess pose. Big giant plie or squat. So many ways to call it. And then exit out of this back into warrior two to the front of your mat. Cartwheel your hands down. Step back to plank. Go through your version of your vinyasa. And we will all meet in downward facing dog. We're gonna stay in this down dog for just a few breaths. And now lower your knees down, untuck your toes, sit back on your heels, sit nice and tall. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Take a moment. If it's comfortable, let your eyes close. Check in with how you're feeling at this part of class. Notice the air around you, the sounds around you. And then when you're ready, open your eyes, let your fingers come down beside you. We're gonna shift off to one side so that we can make our way into a position where our feet are on the mat and our knees are pointing up to the sky. We're gonna reach our arms out in front of us and we're gonna do the slow descent. So I'm gonna count to 10. We're gonna try to hold this all the way to 10. Might be faster, might be slower. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let your arms come down to the mat. Let your head center. So you should be able to tickle the edges of your heels with your fingers. So you want to keep your heels in line with your hips and your knees pointing up to the air. And then from here, we're going to slowly start to roll our spine one vertebra at a time, coming into what's called a bridge pose. So our hands will stay down on the ground for this one. So press into your feet, your shins are moving towards your big toes, and then start to roll up. One vertebra at a time, lifting up, finding a back bend in your spine, keeping your shoulder, your neck, your head on the ground, keeping your arms on the ground. Take 3 breaths here before we slowly roll back down. Once you're all the way back down, let your knees come in and touch each other. You can step your feet to the outer edges of your mat and release any tension you might have on your lower back. All right, walk your feet back in line with your hips so your heels are under your knees. If you would like the additional challenge this time, you can reach your arms up to the sky This will set you a little off balance. You might need to use your stabilizer muscles a little bit more. Otherwise, keep your arms on the ground. Press your feet down, start to roll up one vertebra at a time, lifting your lower back, your middle back, your upper back. So the back of your head and your chest, your back of your head and your shoulders are on the ground. Reach up. Holding here. And then roll down nice and slow, the opposite way, one vertebra at a time. Bringing your arms back down to the ground, let your knees touch. You can open your feet out and let your lower back relax. So we'll do one more bridge. If you prefer to do a full wheel, if that's in your practice, you can go ahead and do that. But I am going to cue another bridge. So this time, if you want to keep your arms on the ground, we'll interlace them behind us for the bind, which will give us a little bit more in our back bend. So bring your feet back under so your knees and your heels are in line. You should be able to just tickle the edges of your heels. And we're going to start to lift nice and slow, lower back, middle back, upper back, pressing into your pinky toe, your big toe, and the heel of your foot. And then see if you can interlace your fingers, shimmy your shoulders closer together. This is going to give you more space, more back bend. You should be able to see your belly rise and fall as you breathe. Nice. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, take your time, but come out of it nice and slow. Bring your knees to touch, feet to the outer edge of your mat. Maybe one hand to your chest, one hand to your stomach. Feel that life force moving around inside you. Keeping your feet on the edges of your mat, open your knees up and now drop both knees over to the right. Bring your arms into a T position. Inhale your knees through center, exhale them over to the left. Inhale your knees through center, exhale them over to the right. Maybe you can take your right foot and place it on top of your left thigh, deepening the stretch. Release your right foot, bring your knees back through center, drop both knees over to the left. Bring your left foot on top of your right thigh. And release that, bring both knees back up to center. Draw your knees in towards your armpits, wrapping your arms around the lower part of your knee or your shin. If you can draw your knees in closer to your chest, stretching through your lower back. Gently release this, hold on to your knees, and now stir your knees around in circles like you're stirring the pot. And then in the opposite direction. And then draw your knees back towards your armpits. If it's comfortable for you, you can reach for the outer edges of your feet. Maybe you want to take a happy baby where you flex your feet up to the sky. Maybe you want to hold on to your toes and straighten your legs. Lots of options here. When you're ready, place both feet back on the mat. Place your right ankle on your left knee, and we're going to come into a figure four. So you lift your left shin parallel to the ground, reach behind your left thigh. Some people like to rock side to side here if that feels better for you. Some people like to stretch their left leg up to the sky. So play around, experiment, see where you need that extra stretch. And then release that down and switch legs. So the left ankle on the right knee, lift the right shin parallel, reach behind the right thigh. Again, rock side to side, straighten your leg. What felt good on the other side might not feel good on this side. And when you're ready, come out of that. If there's anything else you want to do, any last minute poses, any rocking side to side, and we'll make our way onto our backs into our Shavasana. So lie down, extend your arms away from you, extend your legs away from you. Nice and long. So I typically come around with a little bit of lavender oil and I'll adjust your shoulders a little bit, adjust your feet. If you are not interested in me doing this, please put your hand on your stomach so I know to avoid you. Otherwise, let your eyes close. Let yourself relax. Slow your breathing down. Notice the sounds around you.
Keep your eyes open now.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not as good as having someone lie on top of you and tell. That was it. Lie back on up. There you go. Not painfully. All right. Start to deepen your breath, bringing big inhales into your lungs and long, slow exhales out. Start to gently wiggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into the space, wiggling your toes. And then reach your arms up overhead like you're taking a big stretch first thing in the morning. And then when you're ready, roll onto one side, either side, it doesn't matter. And then when you're ready, make your way back into a seated position, sitting up nice and tall. Reach your arms out to the side, let them come all the way up overhead. Exhale, draw your hands down. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. Feel the life and the breath moving through you. Thank yourself and acknowledge all the hard work that you've just done. I thank you all for coming and letting me lead you through your practice. Namaste. Have a lovely evening.